All right, guys, here is the Bell & Ross BR03-94-SW, whatever. I'll put it all in the description. This is actually a limited edition one, and it is a ceramic case. Very cool. Extremely busy dial. This is what they're calling the Multimeter, and that's because it has multiple meters on there. Heck, it has 3 tachometers, I think, on here, amongst a bunch of other formulas and everything. I have the chronograph running right now just so you can see it. But big thanks to Nick at Exquisite Timepieces down in Naples, Florida. I'll put a link in the description. Nick sent this over so I could check it out, share it with you, and you guys can get a closer look at it. They only made 500 of these, so a legit limited edition. The price point, $5,800. There you go, which is fairly reasonable. I think if you think about Bell & Ross limited edition automatic chronograph, ceramic case, you kind of add all those up and it slowly increases the cost. Let's talk about the size. So this is a 42 millimeter case, and it's a square, right? So the case is actually 42 by 42, but then the lugs protrude out. So the lug to lug is 51 millimeter. You do have drilled lugs. The thickness is 13 millimeter. Not bad for an automatic chronograph with a date. 24 millimeter lug width, in case you want to change the strap. The Bell & Ross straps are what you want on a Bell & Ross. I'm sure there might be some aftermarket leather ones, but this one just fits the ceramic case perfectly, and it's ventilated. It's nicely done. You have a 7 millimeter push-pull crown, 100 meter water resist, and then you have your chronograph pushers here. It has a little bit of weight to it, 150 grams. It's not super light. It's got a little bit of heft to it for sure. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the movement inside is actually an ETA. Well, first of all, it's called the Bell & Ross Caliber 301, but it's a worked over or modded from Bell & Ross. It's an ETA 2894, which is kind of like a 2892 movement that they took and added modules onto it and adapted it to work in a chronograph function. So it's not a Valjoux, it's not a full-blown chronograph like that. Rather, it's what they call a module style chronograph. So you can take movements and you can stack things onto them. That's how you add complications. You can, well, if you're a watchmaker and you're competent, I'm sure you can figure that stuff out. I don't know how to do it. I just know that's how it's done. So if we take a closer look at the dial there, I don't know. It's a bunch of colors in circles and everything. All of the functions on here, I'm not going to be able to use. There's kilometers, there's miles per hour, there's the conversions, there's a pulsometer. There's so many things going on. That's why it's called the multimeter. There's so many different meters on here and formulas that can be used. But I think traditionally it's used mostly for athletes, that sort of thing. That's why these formulas would be done in that way, or maybe even a race car circuit or something like that. Check out the date position. Just kind of tucked up there in between the, I don't know, like 12:30-ish. It's the only watch I've ever handled that the date position was tucked up there. Pretty fun. And then that it's orientated so it's easy to read. It's just, it's interesting positioning. Here's a look at the case back. Yeah, I left the sticker on, so it's hard to see some stuff there. But, you know, it talks about the ceramic and then the part number and everything. I don't know. I think it is numbered, actually, right there. I don't know what number it is. I guess you'd have to buy it to find out. But it is actually numbered. I see that now. So, just a matte black ceramic case. Very military looking. Aviation style. That's why these are square like this. This would be like the aviation gauges you would see in a cockpit. Older style ones. They're not done this way now. But all right, let's stop this chronograph because this is a running seconds here at the 3 o'clock. And then this is your minute counter here. So if we stop it and then we reset it, it just snaps right back into position. And a nice tactile feel on those pushers as well. All right, let's zoom back out. There's not a whole lot of lume on this. I did notice when I went into the other room, there's a little bit of lume on the hour minute hand. That's about it. So I don't know if I'm going to bother showing a lume shot, but I definitely need to show a wrist shot because this is the big thing with Bell & Ross. Maybe your wrist can't handle it. Maybe you don't like it. Or maybe you do. Maybe you like a watch with some presence, because the Bell & Ross squares, although it's only 42 by 51, and you guys know I wear 42 by 50 all the time. So 42 by 51 should be no problem with me, right? But look at this thing on wrist. Yeah, it wears, it feels like if I were blindly put this on my wrist and not look at it, it feels like a 42 by 50. No problem. But then I look down and it's like, holy cow, I got something on my wrist here. And then, part of it is the strap. It's really wide because it's 24 lug to lug, or the lug opening, but it flares out even past that quite a bit, probably an extra 4 millimeter. So it definitely has some presence. But I think if I'm going to get a Bell & Ross, that's what I want. I want some boom, kind of like when you buy a Panerai or something like that. You want the larger, more presence type watch when you're buying certain brands or certain styles. You kind of want that impact. You want people to be, not that you're doing it for other people, but if you're in a room full of watch enthusiasts, then yes, you want the other watch enthusiasts to recognize what's on your wrist. Well, they're going to be able to tell it's a Bell & Ross from across the room. That's what's cool about Bell & Ross. You're not going to get that with every watch, but you're definitely going to get that with Bell & Ross. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.